Welcome to Holy Scripture Television. My name is Johan Oldenkamp and I am the presenter of Holy Scripture TV. In this third episode, we will talk about Magog. And to fully understand what I'm saying here, it's very important that you have seen both previous episodes. Otherwise, you will not get it. So if you've not seen both of the previous videos, then stop this video right now. Click on pause and watch the previous ones first. Yeah, it's important to see first this episode on Israel. This name is very important. It means who strives with El. And it's also about the story of Jacob and Esau. So it's mandatory, almost, I would say mandatory to watch that one first. And then the second one was about Babylon. And that what I'm actually presenting now builds on mostly that second part because we're going to continue talking about Babylon. So you must have seen both first episodes on Israel and Babylon. In this third episode, I will also talk about Babylon, but mostly about the relation between Babylon and Magog. So that's what we're going to discuss here in this video. And I make the same contract as I did in the previous episode, namely that if this video is not worthless to you, it means it's worth something. Well, I think if it is worth something, then I'm entitled to that worth. So, and my suggestion is that you then give half of that worth to me and the other half to somebody who needs it in your environment, your direct environment. And if you want to know how you can give that worth to me, then simply look on my website, go to either pateo.nl or to holyscience.org and click on donations. I would very much appreciate that. And I have to be honest, for the previous video, many people have watched it so far, but hardly anyone takes this serious. But I'm taking this very serious because if you do not do what you're supposed to do, yeah, then you are actually stealing. And if you steal, you violate one of the 10 commandments, and then your name will not be in the book of the living. I will explain that too later on. So let us start. And this episode, I will also explain 5 books, 5 chapters, 5 chapters of the ancient scriptures, the Holy Scripture. And it's very important that you understand a complete story. If you only read a verse or a part of a verse, you take it out of context and then you can actually give it most of the time any meaning you want. And that's not a correct way of working. So you need to read the whole chapter, at least the whole chapter, or at least the whole part that it is in. Yeah, sometimes part of a chapter is also possible. But you need to read from the beginning where it's related to that verse until the very end. So that's what we're going to do here too. I will read aloud 5 chapters. So that's a lot of reading, but I'll do that because I think it's important to understand it. Now I'll switch off my camera. It's no longer necessary. If it works, yes. So we start with Ezekiel chapter 38. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man. Well, who is Son of Man? If you've looked at the first episode about Israel, then you know there is a difference between Son of Man and Son of God. And Son of Man is actually the very opposite of the Son of God. We can refer to the Son of God as Christ. That means that the Son of Man is the Antichrist. So that's what we talk about here. The Antichrist has to say something. And he has to do something. Set thy face against Gog. And who is Gog? Gog is the leader of the land of Magog. Yeah, and also the leader of Rosh, of Meshech and Tobel. What are these countries? Well, first of all, the word leader is hegemon in Greek. So the one who has hegemony, who's ruling over it. And Magog, they are the Slavic people. So the eastern part of Europe and Russia, and most of the Russian Federation nowadays. And Rus actually means Rush. So it's the land of Rush or Russia. Russia. And Meshech, that became Moscow. So it's the Moscow region and the major town there. And Tobal is, Georgia, but also the Caucasus and north of that. So it's also connected to Russia. So this is all about Russia. And the Antichrist has to set his face against Russia and the leader of Russia. Yeah, why? In order to fulfill the prophecy. That's what it says here. The words fulfill are not there, but it means, of course, the prophecy has to be fulfilled. And that's why the Antichrist has to put his face, set his face against Russia. And the Antichrist has to say against the leader of Russia, behold, I am against thee, leader of Rosh, Meshech, and Tobal. So that's what it says. The Antichrist has to declare war on the leader of Russia. And who are these names? Well, they're all related to sons of Japhet. And we know that Japhet went to Europe. Yeah, Europe including Russia. So that's the names here. Most of them went there. Not all of them, but most of them. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And I will bring thee forth. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of swords and a great multitude of bucklers and shields. All of them handling swords. So the army, it's all about the army. So the Antichrist will put hooks into the army of Russia. And also Persians, Ethiopians, and Libyans. Ethiopians was a reference to people from Africa and Libyans from North Africa. All with helmets and shields. So they're all in the army of the attacker. In the army of Russia. Gomer and all belonging to him, the house of Torgama. Well, Gomer means actually the people from Germanic, the Germanic people. It's not only Germany, but actually also Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium, Poland, the whole region. And Togarma, that means the Walloons. Actually, the name Wales comes from Walloons, of the Wallonic people. And France and also Spain. So what we can say here, this is all about Western Europe. And what does Western Europe have to do? Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, and thou and all thy multitude that is assembled with thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Western Europe has to play the role of the guard for the whole world. I think that's important because there will be a major conflict between the USA and Russia. That's what it says here. Yeah, this sentence is very important. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Well, it is the jaws of Russia. And who put the hooks in there? Well, that's the USA. Here you see USA military bases all around Russia. So USA is putting hooks into Russia. Turn thee back. Yeah, brings her back. Like a fish. But the fish has not surrendered yet. And actually the fish will win in the end. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. This is now to the king of the north, so the Gog. And Gog has to do this. And he has to go into the land that is brought back from the sword. What does this mean? This is the land of the USA because it was conquered by the sword, or actually the bullet, because the native residents, they were all murdered. This is a huge genocide committed by the people who came to live in the USA. And the USA is gathered out of many people. Yeah, that's true. All kinds of ethnicities are there. Many people, many different sorts of people, many tribes, so to say. Against the mountains. Well, of Israel, I cannot put that word there. I don't know why it's there. I think it was added later, so I ignore it. Yeah, there are many mountains in that land, the land of the USA, which have been entirely desolate. So that will be the end result, a desolate land. But it is brought from out of the nations, and they shall dwell securely, all of them. So the people now in the USA, they dwell securely. Yeah, there's nothing to worry for them. That's what they think. And thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, and shalt arrive as a cloud to cover the land. And there shall be thou and all that are about thee, and many nations with thee. So Russia will come with many other countries as well. And it will come like a cloud, a dark cloud or a storm over the USA. Thus said the Lord God, it shall come to pass in that day, and thoughts shall come up into thine heart, and thou shalt devise evil devices. So Russia will come up with a very evil device to do all this. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the rejected land. The rejected land is this land. Yeah, the land that actually rejected God, the real God. I'm not talking about the fake God of Christianity. I'm talking about the real God here. And I will come up upon them that are at ease and tranquility and dwelling in peace, all them dwelling without walls. Yeah, people in the USA are dwelling in peace. They don't fear anything. Yes, they pretend to fear terrorism, but they know it's all a lie. Because the USA Army, those are the real terrorists. And having neither bars nor gates, that means it's like in the ancient days, it's not a well-protected city with a wall and a big gate that is can be locked by a huge bar and so on. No, you can easily enter there. You just book a flight and get a visa, and then you are already in the USA. Nothing stops you. So it's easy to go there. And it will also be easy for the Russian army to go there. And they will seize and plunder and take their spoil. Yeah, to turn my hands against the desolate land that is now inhabited. Yeah, now currently the USA is inhabited, but after this it will be very desolate. And against a nation that is gathered from many nations. So many people, many countries will join this war, and they will all attack the USA. That have acquired cattle and goods. Yeah, the people in the USA are rich. They have acquired all kinds of things. Big houses, big cars, a lot of food in the refrigerator and so on. They have it all good, most of them. Dwelling in the midst of the land, in the midst of North America, that's where we find the USA. Then a couple of names from ancient times. I'm not exactly sure what it means or what it is referred to in the current day time. Saba and Dedan and Carthaginian merchants. I think these are all the countries that do business with the USA. And all their villages shall say to thee, thou art come for plunder, to take a prey and to get spoils. Thou hast gathered thy multitude to take silver and gold, to carry off property, to take spoils again. So what does it mean? It looks like the Russian army is there to just take all the valuable goods. But it's not about that. It's about something much bigger. Therefore prophecy, son of man, to fulfill this prophecy, son of man, and say to Gog, thus said the Lord, wilt thou not arise in that day, when my people are dwelling securely, and come out of thy place from the farthest north? So the Antichrist is actually tempting or somehow forcing the Lord of Russia to come. And many nations with that, all of them mounted on horses, a great gathering, and a large force. So actually the Antichrist says, come, why don't you come? And thou shalt come up upon my people. So they will come as a cloud to cover the land. It shall come to pass in the last days that I will bring thee up upon my land. Yeah, so it's actually the Lord who commands the king of Russia to come over the USA, and all that nations may know me, so that it may be clear to the rest of the world who is actually the real God and who is the fake one. When I am sanctified in thee before them. Thus said the Lord God to Gog, thou art the one concerning whom I spoke in former times by the hands of my servants, the prophets of Israel, in those days and years, and I would bring thee against them. So it was already known in those days that it was not about 2,500 years ago. It's about the time we're living in right now. So for them it was far in the future. But even though it was far in the past now, they knew how to address this God. And it shall come to pass in that day, in the day when Gog shall come against the land of Israel. The land of Israel is actually the USA, said the Lord God. When my wrath and my eagerness shall arise, I have spoken in the fire of mine wrath. Clearly, in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land. So the whole land, I don't think Israel is correct here, the whole land, I think the whole planet will shake. There will be huge earthquakes everywhere. And the fish of the sea shall quake at the presence of the Lord. Yeah, this will also affect all the animals and the birds of the sky and the wild beasts of the field and all the reptiles that creep upon the earth. All animals will also suffer because of this. They will also have to deal with it. And all the men that are on the face of the earth. So I think that's why they make huge cities under the ground now and use military bunkers, deep underground military bases. Why? Because they know it's not a really safe place to be. There will be huge solar flares and mass coronal ejections, so the sun will be very actively, and also the earth will respond to that with earthquakes and many other things as well. The weather will be very troubling for us as well. And not only people will witness this, but all the animals too. And the mountains shall be thrown down. So mountains will become flat and the valleys shall fall. So something big, extremely big is going to happen very soon. And every wall on the land shall fall. So there will not be any wall standing. All houses will be thrown to the floor. That huge will be the shake-up of this planet. And I will summon against it even every fear. So people will be very fearful, said the Lord. The sword of every man shall be against his brother. So people will start to fight each other. They start to loot and they start to take all that they need to survive, because people will be panicking. They think it will be very hard to survive this. So people will behave like beasts, horrible, killing each other, taking away food and things like that. And I will judge him with pestilence. That's a name for a fatal epidemic disease. So people will get sick, and blood. People will murder each other, and sweeping rain and hailstones. So the weather will be extremely bad. And I will rain upon him fire and brimstone. So that's what's coming from the heavens. That's the extreme powerful radiation that will put fire in us, so to say. So it will be very difficult to survive. And upon all that are with him, and upon many nations with him. This is what is all going to happen. War and weather, bad weather, and people fighting each other, and diseases. It's not looking good. And I will be magnified and sanctified and glorified, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations. People will see that the one responsible for all of this is the one and only God, because the nature is commanded by God, the real forces of nature. And they shall know that I am the Lord. So people will become interested in God again. Now hardly anyone is interested in it. In religion, in spirituality, I mean. But then people will open their eyes and start to understand the true powers of nature. Let us look now at Jeremiah chapter 50. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans, and the Chaldeans are the Zionists, and the Jesuits, by Jeremiah the prophet. So this is the title actually. The title of this chapter is the first verse. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say, so it has to be very publicly known. And what is that? That is, Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken into pieces. Those are two gods from ancient times. So the gods of the people behind Babylon, the people who control the USA from behind the scene, their gods, their demonic gods, they are broken in pieces and confounded. Her idols are confounded, the fake gods of them. Her images are broken in pieces. So the images, the law breaking in the USA, the graven images, that's the refers to graven image, it's a second commandment is meant here. So violating the second commandment big time by actually all in the USA, because they were misguided, that will all be broken into pieces. For out of the north there cometh a nation against her. So from the north, or they mean the king of the north, and I will explain later on who that king is. He will come with his army to overtake the USA, which shall make her land desolate. So it will not be possible to live anymore after that in the USA. And none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. So all living is gone out of the USA afterwards. In those days and in that time, said the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, they shall proceed. Well, Judah means who praises the Lord, and Israel means who strives with El, also the Lord. So you strive with El, that's the second step. But the first step is start to praise the Lord, recognize the Lord. That's step one. So you can say the initiate level number 1 and 2, they are all weeping because they see the drama that's going on. Many people get slaughtered, get murdered, and it will be very rough times. So nobody would like to see that, especially not if you are spiritually well developed. But all these people will seek the Lord and try to understand what's going on. They shall ask the way to Zion. Zion is the mount of mounting up to God, the seventh heaven, with their faces toward, saying, come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. People remember that they have a covenant with the Lord, but only if you follow the 10 commandments. Otherwise, you don't have that covenant. My people has been lost sheep. That's true. They are lost because they don't know who their real Lord is. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. And who are the shepherds? Well, that can be the referent or your imam or I don't know. The one you listen to, the one you think highly of. They are all false prophets. So those false prophets, also the leaders of countries, they have caused them to go astray. They brought them away from the one true God into darkness. They have turned them away from the mountains. The mountains is where you find God. It's an ancient way of explaining how to ascend your consciousness to the seventh heaven of God. Mountain is a metaphor for that. So instead of to the mountains, they have gone from the mountain to a hill. A hill is not where you find God. It looks like you get higher in your spirituality, but it's all fake. Like New Age or like any religion. It's all fake. It doesn't help you. There's only but one way, and that is to climb the mountain. And Holy Science explains you how to do that. They have forgotten their resting place. What does it mean, resting place? Resting place is a reference to day 7, the last day in the first chapter of Genesis. So that means the 7th heaven of God, where you rest because there is no motion. Everything is still, because that's the universal stillness of the source world, as Holy Science explains it. So you have to understand that you have to go to the source. That's what it's all about. And what is the source? The source is God. So you have to go to God. But people have all forgotten it. And that found them have devoured them. I'm sorry, all that found them have devoured them. So all people who saw this took advantage of it. And their adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord. So we don't break the rules, we don't break the 10 commandments, because they have already sinned. We just simply do what they deserve. We give them what they deserve. That's their way of reasoning. And that's also the way of reasoning of the so-called elites, the powers that should not be. Because they play for God and they say, well, we just give the people what they deserve. And they tell us that in all their movies and television series and so on. They tell us that in the face, this is what we're going to do to you because you deserve it. You have sinned against the Lord. And actually they are not mistaken about that. So that's the game they play. It's very clever, but of course it's deceitful. The habitation of righteousness. Yeah, we have forgotten all about the first Lord. This is the one true Lord. And even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. This is the second Lord. This is the fake Lord. This is the Lord of the religions. Yeah, that gives you hope. Well, if you give somebody hope, I think that's the worst thing you can do. Hope makes people awaiting something better, but don't do anything. Hope makes people passive. Hope is horrible. Yeah, so I don't think I have to comment on Obama here. I think you get it already. But hope is horrible. And so, but also people forgot about this second Lord, this fake Lord, the Lord of religions. Because most of the people are not interested in religions anymore. They think it's all rubbish. Well, for a part they are right. But they should not throw away the baby with the bathwater, because the baby is very important. Remove out of the midst of Babylon. Get out of the USA. Go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans. Yeah, to me, this is also reference to Israel. So if you're now living in Israel or in the USA, make sure you move. Because that is not any country you want to be in when the end time starts. And be as the he-goats, as the rams before the flocks. What does a he-goat do? Yeah, a male goat, a ram. Well, he goes about his own way. He doesn't follow. But on the other hand, he gets followers. So lead the way. If you have seen this video and you understand, lead the way for your flock, for your family, for your loved ones. Tell them about this. And do what is best to be done. Yeah, get out of the USA and Israel. For behold, I will raise and cause to come against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. So all those countries will together attack the USA. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of mighty exponents, so they will not miss, and none shall return in vain. That's an old way of saying, because in the old days, when there was a war with arrows, people simply took out the arrow of a body and shoot it back against their adversaries. But an arrow that was shot in vain was an arrow that missed. And that's why they say here, yeah, the weapons that will be used against the USA will not miss. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. So this, to me, is a clear reference to this unlawful state of Israel. That will be a spoil as well. And that spoil shall be satisfied, said the Lord. People who make Israel into a wasteland too, they will be happy. Because ye will be glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. Because ye are grown fat out of heifer, at grass, and bellow as bulls. So it refers to the people who did all this. And they are not on the good side. Yeah, no doubt about it. But this all has to be done part of the bigger plan. Your mother shall be shall be sore confounded. So who is the mother? Well, I think the mother is the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is both the mother of the USA and the mother of Israel. So she will be confounded. I think so. She that bare you shall be ashamed. That's the same thing. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness. Well, the hindermost, in more common language, you say the ass, the backside. So the backside of the nations. Who is the most backsided nation at this moment? Well, I think that's the people who call themselves the greatest nation on the earth. I think the people of the USA, they are the hindermost. And if you are now offended by what I say to you, then I think it's time that you open up your eyes, because you have been the spoil of the whole world from the perspective of God. And that will be a wilderness. It will be a desolate place, a dry land and a desert. Nobody will be able to live there anymore. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Nobody will live there. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourself in array against Babylon around about, from all directions. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord, and prevail against her. Conquer her, be victorious. Her hands are weakened, her bulwarks are fallen, and her wall is broken down. For it is the vengeance from God, take vengeance upon her. As she has done, do it to her. All the very horrible things that USA Army has done in the last years, it will be all done to the people of the USA. What has been done in Vietnam, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, everywhere, Korea, everywhere, Japan, all these things will be done to the people of the USA. Because what goes around comes around. That's the law. Cut off the shower from Babylon, the sower, so nothing will be sowed anymore. And him that handled the sickle, so no harvesting either in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. So that people will be so fearful that they will run away. If you have not left the USA and Israel before those days, then you will do it in those days. And nobody will put seeds in the ground and nobody will harvest anymore. So there will not be food anymore. There will be a famine. Israel is a scattered sheep. Israel is now a reference to all the people who know about the word of God. And they are scattered around the whole world. But fortunately for us, there is internet, so you can watch this video wherever you are. And we, the flock of the Lord, the one true Lord, we can somehow connect again. The lions have driven him away. The lions reference to the states. In my country too. The state tries to somehow harass people as much as they can. They are the lions. And most people are intimidated by the lions. But I'm not. I don't care about the lion. The lion is not powerful. The lion has no power over me. Then now we go back in history. First, the king of Assyria had devoured him, and last, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has broken his bones. This is what happened in the past. The people who have understanding of the one true God, they have been conquered. And that's in our days too. We have also been conquered, but we didn't know it because we were born in a certain state. And we thought it was normal to have a birth certificate and all those things. But you don't belong to the state. You are a creature that belongs to the Lord. So break free from those lions. Therefore, this said the Lord of hosts, of all the armies, the God of Israel, the ones who strive with him, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land. So the president of the USA and the land of the USA will be punished, as I have punished the king of Assyria. People think this is ancient Babylon. Well, it happened in ancient Babylon, so that's true. but it also happens in modern-day Babylon, and that's the USA. And I will bring Israel again to his habitation. Israel is a reference to all the people who strive with El, and they don't have a good living at this moment. Yeah, they are harassed. They have a tough time. But those people will have a good habitation again. And he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon the Mount Ephraim and Gilead. So this means people who strive with El, they will have a good day, and they can mount up. Yeah, they can climb to the highest level. So the bad days will be over soon, but first it will become very, very dark. In those days and in that time, said the Lord, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for. So afterwards, we will try to find the iniquity, but none shall be found. There shall not be none. And the sins of Judah, well, there shall not be found either. So the people who strive with El and they praise the Lord, those people will not be sinful any longer. And then the Lord will pardon them who I reserve. So anyone who is still alive at that day will receive a kind of pardon. And then we are in the promised land. Then we are in the land of milk and honey, or paradise, or what you like to call it. But that will be the very end of it. Before that, there will be very hard times. Go up against the land of Marathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Waste and utterly destroy after them, said the Lord, and do according to all what I have commanded thee. I don't know which countries these are, but I think they are playing a major role here as well. Yeah, so maybe it's a reference to China, I don't know. But this will all be part of the Third World War. The sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Well, the hammer of the whole earth, I think that's clear by now, that is the USA. The military of the USA has been a hammer for long. It hammered so many countries. Yeah, and not only the military, but also the secret military, all the secret missions. Yeah, in South America, Middle America, and so on. Goes on and on. But this hammer will cut asunder and be broken. So it will end with no more hammering by the USA armies and secret agents. How is Babylon become a desolate among the nations? So nowadays we cannot imagine it. Yeah, we still see USA as a very powerful land, but it will be desolate and it will be completely broken. I have laid a snare for thee. So the USA is caught in a kind of trap. And thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. So this trap is there already, but the president of the USA will not see it and will step in it. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Yeah, this is why, the reason why it will all happen. The Lord has opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. So something really big is about to happen. It will come from the heavens and it will hit the USA big time. And I think it has to do with coronal mass ejections that will completely put down the USA and take away all the technology, because it will be completely useless. Now it will be like a huge EMP hit, electromagnetic pulse hit. So it will be all out and over. For this is the work of the Lord God, the God of hosts of armies in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouse, cast up her as heaps. And that's what you do when you have worked on the land, and destroy her utterly, that nothing of her be left. This is what will happen. Yeah, the land of the Chaldeans is now again the land of the USA. So it's a little bit difficult to read it clearly, because sometimes it means Israel, but I think most of the time it means the USA. I will later on give a clear example where it is can only be meaning the unlawful state of Israel. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter, hoe on them. For their day is come, the time of their visitation. Yeah, this will happen. I think there's a reference for that there will not be any new babies anymore, something like that. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple. So the people who run away from the USA, when they witness all this, they go to Zion, and Zion is the mountain. So they go up in their consciousness, and then they are witnessing this and declare this. They understand what's going on. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it around about, from all directions. Yeah, make sure that you can attack. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work. Give to her what she dealt out, according to all that she has done. Do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, said the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, thou very arrogant nation, said the Lord God of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall tumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Yeah, the ones who were really serving the one true God, they were oppressed. And all that took them captives held them fast. So they were put in jails and so on. They refused to let them go. And because of this, they will get their reward, so to say, what they deserve. Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give to the rest of the land, and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her lords, and upon her clever men, a sword upon her warriors, and they shall be weakened, a sword upon their horses, and upon their chariots, a sword upon their warriors, and upon the mixed people in the midst of her. And again, the mixed people, the many different ethnicities. And they shall be as women. Yeah, that means ancient language for they shall be weak. The men shall be weak. A sword upon the treasures, and they shall be scattered upon her water. Yeah, so all the treasures there are now in the USA, yeah, just a few families have about everything. That will end. And those treasures, they will be scattered upon the people. The people will have the true treasures again. So that's I think a good thing. A drought is upon the waters. So tough times will be coming, and they shall be dried up. So the famine and maybe thirst, it will all happen. For it is the land of the graven images. Yeah, the sinners. And they are mad upon their idols. Yeah. So this is a violation of the first two commandments. Therefore, the wild beasts of the deserts and the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Yeah, so it makes it absolutely clear nobody will live in the land of the USA after this. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, yes, literally it says Sodoma and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, said the Lord, so shall no man abide there in the USA. Neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Yeah, nobody. Behold, a people shall come from the north. Yeah, the people from the northern kingdom will come. And the great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. So many countries will join in, together with the kingdom of the north that will attack this land of the USA. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel, and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array, like a man to the battle, against the daughter of Babylon. I hope this is clear. Yeah, many armies will come and invade the USA. The king of Babylon had heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble, so he became really powerless. Anguish took hold of him, and the pangs as of a woman in travail. So that in those days, I think that was the worst pain people could imagine, so that's why they put it here. But the king of Babylon, the president of the USA, will be completely powerless and not know what to do and be in pain. Behold, he shall come up like a lion. Yeah, the he is now the adversary of the USA, like a lion from the swelling of Jordan. So out of nowhere, suddenly it will be there, unexpectedly, like a thief in the night. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is chosen man? So people will run away from the USA and vanish. Even the military will surrender. And who is a chosen man? So there will be a chosen man. Somebody who chooses to serve God. And he will become the leader that I may appoint over her. So there will be a new leader in the USA in those days. But it will not be somebody serving the Antichrist or the Antichrist himself, but somebody else. But it has to be somebody like me, who is like me. Yeah, maybe the N has to be a capital here. Who is like God. And who will appoint me the time. And who is the shepherd that will stand before me. This is the good shepherd. So who will stand up and save the people of the USA? Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he has taken against Babylon, and his purposes. He hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Yeah, the land of the Chaldeans, Babylon, is all the USA. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Yeah. So the least of the flock. So they are not the best people. Yeah, the warriors that come, they are the least of the flock. So, yeah, it's the way it is. They are not the heroes. They are not the good people, not at all. The good people are the people who are mounting up to Lord. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Now, this will surely happen to the people in the USA. The country will be uninhabited. Nobody will live there, and it will be a desolate place. And the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. Yeah, when this is all happening, the whole earth is moved. Everybody is shocked. It's a global event. Third World War. Yeah, it's the last part of the Third World War. And the cry is heard among the nations. Now let us move on to Isaiah chapter 13. When the vision against Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Asa saw. So this is the title again. The first verse is the title, the vision of Isaiah about what happened against Babylon. And this starts like this: lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Yeah, that was done to make something known to the rest of the people. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the archons, the rulers. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highnesses. So this is a call both to the spiritual people and the physical people. The physical people, the military, they are called to attack the USA, but the spiritual people are also called here. The sanctified ones, and those who rejoice in his highness. But those people do not fight a physical war. People like you and me, at least me, but I think you too, we are participating in the spiritual war, so to say, or the fight between darkness and light. So we also have a role to play. It's all part of the same thing. What happens in the physical world is also happening in the metaphysical world. But then, of course, not violently, but it's all about, conquering the darkness with light. The noise of a multitude in the mountains. Yeah, this is both the military making noise, but also the spiritual people making noise. Yeah, like of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. So we come together and we all have our things to say. The Lord of hosts mustered gathered means the host of the battle. Yeah, so there will be a battle both in the physical world and in the metaphysical world. They shall come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. So the Almighty will play a role in it too. That means that nature will be very violent too. Yeah, coronal mass ejections, earthquakes, weather, and so on. It will all be there. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. So people will be full of fear and not strong anymore. And they shall be afraid. Pangs, means pains and sorrows, shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. So again, this pain that was actually the most painful one they could write down. Nowadays, I think if you have a delivery that is more natural, then the pain is not that bad. But yeah, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. Anyway, they shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. So this is the radiation that gets them, that hits them. Behold, the day that the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. So it will be completely dark, also in the night. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth. So in the daytime it will be dark, and in the nighttime too. Yeah, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Shall not cause her light to shine. That it means no light, completely darkness. Earlier prophecies talk about 3 days of darkness. Well, maybe that is this period. Maybe it lasts longer. But this is the prophecy, and I think it will be happening. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. This will all end. The wickedness, the arrogancy, the haughtiness, it will all stop. But it's a huge measure put upon the people to make it stop. I will make a man more precious than fine gold. This is actually talking about man who is raising up with his conscience to the highest level. Then you are more precious than fine gold. Yeah, fine gold is a reference to the higher state, but this is even higher than that. So we will become one with God. Even a man more precious than the golden wedge of Ophir. So that's what happens. Something really bad is going to happen, but it has a good side too, and that is that it brings people back into genuine spirituality. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. Whoa. So the orbit we are now in will be left, and we get a new orbit. The heavens will completely be different. The stars will be at a different position, and so on. This happened in the past. I know this from my own research, but this will happen too. And this time, we will all witness this. Yeah, the Maya spoke about this too. They talked about the end of the fifth sun or something. So many cultures talk about this. Big changes in the sky, because we move with our spaceship, so to say, with the Earth spaceship. We move to a different place. In the wrath of the lords of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. So that's how people will understand this. Yeah? Like the finger of God pushes our planet to a different position. And it shall be as the chased roe, yeah, a roe that is chased by something, and as sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people. Not sure if it has to be they or them, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, people will go to where they come from originally and flee everyone into his own land. Yeah, especially for the USA. Because the USA is a land of immigrants. They come from everywhere. Maybe third, fourth, fifth generation immigrants, but they're all immigrants. Everyone that is found there shall be thrust through. So if you are still there, you didn't go to your own land, then you probably will not survive this. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Yeah, so if you join the USA, or the military of the USA, you will die too. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. So this is horrible. You don't want to be there when this is happening. And neither do your loved ones want to be there. So make sure that you and your loved ones are out before this starts. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes is a reference to the land of Gog, Magog. So these are the Russians. The Russians are stirred up against them, which shall not regard silver. Yeah, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So it's not about silver and gold, about the physical thing. They just want something else. Yeah, it's not. They don't want to rob the country. They just want to get rid of the threat of the USA. That's what it is. The USA is a huge threat for all the people in Russia. Their life is getting more and more impossible, and they want to end this. They want to have a normal life. So that's why they do it. Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. So even if a woman is pregnant, they don't care. Their eye shall not spare the children. So children, pregnant women, young men, they are all murdered. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, so the great USA, the beauty of the Chaldees excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So this is happening again. And it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. So it's not only now, but it's for the very long future as well. Yeah, it will be a desolate place forever. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, so you cannot even camp. Neither shall the shepherds make their fall there, so you cannot even sleep under the bare sky. Nobody can sleep there anymore. Nobody can live there anymore. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And the owls shall dwell there, and the satyrs shall dance there. So all the creatures, the evil creatures, so to say, the creatures of evil, if you want to put it like that, they take over the country. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant palaces. So where people now live in very much luxury, there will no longer be people but dragons and wild beasts. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So it will end soon, and there is no escape possible. If you want to know the timing, then you have to buy this video. I ask €5 for it, or the equivalent in your own currency, and then you can watch this video. And in the video, I'll explain exactly what is written down in the chapter 9 of Daniel, the last part, because there he prophesies what will happen. But he prophesies that in a very cleverly hidden way. But I broke the Daniel code, and I know exactly the times now, the exact dates of what will happen. So if you want to know the timeline of the end times, then you can watch this video. To do so, look on my website, either pateo.nl or holyscience.org. Yeah, you can go, for instance, to this article, but you can also go to this website and just type in Daniel or end times, anything works. Then you get that article too. And there you see how to get this video, this masterclass video of Holy Science. So let us look at Daniel now. We're going to explain 2 chapters. First, Daniel 11, which is a rather long one, and then Daniel 12, that is a short one. Daniel 11 is not a really happy one, but it shows you exactly step by step what happened in the recent past. And to me, that is the best proof of the truthfulness of this prophecy. Because you can verify each verse step by step, and then you will find that it is true. It has been true so far, so to me that means it will be true for the rest of the verses as well. And then after we've seen all that will happen in these end times, then chapter 12 will help us to be strengthened and to know that there will be a time after this as well. So the bad times will end, and that's what Daniel 11 is all about, how it will end. It starts like this, the first verse. And I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, so Mede is again Russia, so a ruler of Russia, or on the area close to Russia, and I stood to more firm and to strengthen him. Actually the Mede is here. It's part of now Iran, northwest of Iran, northwestern Iran, but it's in the direction of Russia. So this is just a way to refer to Russia in those days. So there was a leader of Russia, and everybody was actually, happy with what he was doing, thought it was good what he did, and he was strengthened. And who was this man, this ruler of Russia? That was Mr. Lenin. People thought he was good, and he gave power to the people. Communism was seen in the beginning as something good, because the people were liberated from the monarchs that were exploiting them. So that's verse 1. I think that can be checked off. This is true. This already came true. This is about Lenin. And now I will shew thee the truth. Behold, there shall be stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up against the realms of Hellas. Well, Hellas or Hellas, he is here in Greek. Of Hellas, that stands here. That means Grecia. Now, that's how it is written down in most ancient scriptures. But nowadays we say Greece. And I can also explain where this word is coming from, but that's not for this episode. In Holy Science videos I explain that. And who was this 4th king of Persia? Well, that was this man. He was born as Reza Khan. Later he changed his name in Reza Pahlavi, but most people know him as Reza Shah. Shah means a kind of king. So he was the king of Persia, the Shah of Persia. And this man stirred up against the realms of Hellas, because Hellas is a reference to Europe. So he somehow helped to create the Second World War, because he was a very important ally of Nazi Germany. He did a lot of business with Nazi Germany. And that's why he got from Adolf Hitler a signed photograph. And Hitler put his signature there. There you can see it. His Imperial Majesty Reza Shah Pahlavi, Shamana Shah, I think the Great Shah of Iran. With best wishes, Berlin, 12 March 1936, signed Adolf Hitler. So, it's true. He was stirring up, and that's why both Britain and Russia invaded the land of Persia, which he by then had renamed Iran, and they took it over. So it makes sense. This is also checked. This is also come true. And the mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominance, and do accordingly to his will. Most people go completely wrong here. They came up with all kinds of names, but the one true name here, the one true king, is Adolf Hitler. He was the great king that stood up, and he did according to his will. He had all power in his kingdom, in his empire. And at the height of his power, this was his kingdom. All which is red belonged to Nazi Germany. Yeah, also the top of Africa, the northern part of Africa, but not here, not like Palestine and Syria and Turkey and so on. And we should not forget Switzerland either, the homeland of these crazy people, the psychopaths. Yeah, it's their motherland. So that's why in the middle of this area, he forgot to conquer Switzerland. That's of course not a mistake. That's all part of the plan. Anyway, this third verse of Daniel is about Adolf Hitler. Anyone who doubts this does not understand. And then the fourth one. And when he shall stand up, so when Hitler stands up, his kingdom shall be broken. Yeah, that's true. And shall be divided towards the four winds of heaven, the directions of the winds. And not to his prosperity, so not the people after him, they will not have it, nor according to his dominion which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. So this is what happened afterwards. Yeah, the red part became under the control of Russia, but this is what happened to Germany. Germany was cut into four parts and in four directions of the winds. Yeah, you had an eastern part, a western part, a northern part, and a southern part. That happened. So this is exactly true. Yeah, this is the most precise prediction, and you can see it came true. And even others beside those areas, because now we see that this, which was not part of the German Empire, was still cut up into pieces too. And that's how later on the land of Israel cut there. But it happened as a result of the Second World War, which was all part of the plan, of course. But now we see that Syria became part of, under control of France, and Palestine came under the control of the United Kingdom. And of course we knew how that story continued. So if you have still doubts, then I think by now you should be convinced. And if not, you can better stop and stop watching this video, because it will not be more precise than this. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his archontes, means the rulers, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. After the Second World War, the USA became the most powerful country in the world. It had a kind of Cold War with Russia, but everybody knew that the USA was much more powerful. Yeah, especially in the western part of Europe, with the so-called Marshall Plan, all countries got money from the USA and were able to rebuild their countries. So it was a time of prosperity. And everybody did the same as was done in the USA before that. Got all the machinery in the kitchen and so on. So the USA became a big empire, and Europe and other countries too became a kind of province of that huge empire of the USA. And who is the South? Well, the South, you need to know that it is a reference to the order of Saturn, the Saturn worshipping death cult, or the Satan worshipping cult. And first it was in Sumer, and then they were kicked out. That's the story of Abram. Yeah, they were forced to go away, and finally they arrived in Egypt. And there they really took control. They learned from their mistakes in Sumer, and in Egypt they became the big rulers. And that's why Freemasonry is honoring everything from Egypt big time, because that was the start of their hegemony, their supremacy. So south is south from where these scriptures were written down, and that's the land of Palestine. Yeah, probably the region of the West Bank, where it is now. That was the place where these were written down, and then Egypt is of course to the south. So that's why it was south. And the king of that empire of the south, directly after World War II, that was this guy, Harry Truman. And it's completely silly that he put an S in between, because he doesn't have a really second name. He doesn't have a second name, but he somehow wants to be, I don't know why. To me, I cannot understand it. Anyway, he was so powerful that he brought Japan down. And since then, Japan is also part of the provinces of the USA. And yeah, from his hegemony on, the USA became a real world power. It wasn't that powerful before the Second World War. Yeah, people in the USA actually didn't want to jump in until we had the fakery of Pearl Harbor, because the USA intelligence knew it was coming, but they needed that attack in order to join the Second World War. And after that, they were able to become the most powerful country. So then we can truly speak of the King of the South, because that is the USA. And in the end of the years, they shall join themselves together. Well, who is they? They is the King of the North and the King of the South. The King of the South is the USA. So who is the King of the North? The King of the North is Russia. Or in those days, it was called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR. But it was actually called CCCP in the Russian language. So the Russian Empire, that was the King of the North, of the Kingdom of the North. And USA was the Kingdom of the South. And those two kings, the leader of Russia and the leader of the USA, they came together. They made an agreement. And how did they do that? Well, the King of the North, the King of the South, offered his daughter. And who is the daughter of the King of the South? Who is the daughter of the USA that somehow made an agreement with Russia? That is, of course, the United Nations. The United Nations came forth from the USA, and its headquarters is still in the USA, in New York City. So it's clear that's the daughter of the King of the South, King of the USA. But also Russia joined it. The USSR became a member of the Security Council, I think that's the right word. Well, anyway, and a very important member of the UN. And that's why there is some kind of agreement between those two world powers. But then we say, but she shall not retain the power of the arm. Yeah, nowadays, the UN is also about violence. Libya was attacked and it was approved by the United Nations. Yeah, Israel, the unlawful state of Israel, was founded and it was approved by the United Nations. So those arms, the powerful force of the UN, that will not retain. It will vanish one day. Neither shall he stand. He is the King of the South. So also the USA will stop standing, will fall down. Nor his arm, the armies of the USA. But she shall be given up. Yeah, people abandon the United Nations as they that brought her. Yeah, also they who started with it. Not only the USA, but also the United Kingdom and France and other countries as well. They will all abandon it. And he that begat her and he that strengthened her in these times. Yeah, this is again about the USA. They will all be brought down. Out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his place. Yeah, the roots we are talking about now is the roots of the USA. And the branch of her roots, or actually his roots, which shall come with an army. We talk about secret services here. And the secret service we talk about mostly was the Central Intelligence Agency, which was founded very closely after the UN was founded. And that CIA started to do all kinds of illegal and unlawful and horrible actions with military. Yeah, they created their own secret armies everywhere. And they entered the fortress of the King of the North, the fortress of Russia. And here you see a map of the fortress of Russia. All these red countries, they were in those days more or less the provinces of that great empire of the North. Yeah, whole Eastern Europe here, and these countries too. Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and so on. All part of this big Russian empire, this King of the North, Kingdom of the North, the fortress of the king. And the CIA started all kinds of covert operations to enter that fortress, to enter the red countries. And it started, not maybe earlier, but this is a very clear example, Afghanistan. Because the CIA found it and also financed it and trained it and gave it weapons to the Mujahideen. Yeah, they told it was a holy war. Well, there's nothing holy about this. Yeah, this is a very dirty war. And they succeeded. They shall prevail. Yeah, the Mujahideen were able to kick the Russian army out of their country. But it was not the real Mujahideen, it were the CIA operatives who did this. And the same happened later in Yugoslavia. Yeah, it was so kind of a civil war, but it was sponsored, financed, and organized and orchestrated by the CIA and the Zionists who financed it. Very horrible. Many people died. But it was all done to break down the power. Yeah, and it went on and on. Yeah, and they not only created the Mujahideen, but also the Al-Qaeda and ISIS. All these so-called terror organizations, or liberation organizations, or how you like to call them, they are all sponsored, financed, and trained by the CIA or other secret agencies, yeah, like the Mossad, because they have a huge interest in this. And then it happened in Syria. They started a revolt. Yeah, these what came from the branch of the root of her. They started a revolt in Syria, and that's still going on. And in Ukraine, the same thing. Yeah, here. And then they said the Crimea should be part of the Western world, also. They want to make everything blue. And that's, yeah, it's already happened here. This is all blue now. It's no longer red. It's all blue. But Russia didn't like the Crimea to be taken, so that's what was seized back immediately. But Ukraine is still under their control. Yeah, the lines are a little bit different here, but doesn't really matter too much. I think this is no, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the idea, hopefully. Then we go to verse 8. And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their argontes, rulers, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold. And he shall continue more years than the king of the north. Who is this he? He is the organization that captures people and somehow make them serve to their god, their gods, the gods of Egypt. And what do we talk about here? We talk about, for instance, bringing those captives to Guantanamo Bay. And no right is applied here. This is the most horrible thing you can do. Those people are there. They are not charged with anything. They are just locked up and they are tortured. This is beastly. This is horrible. And if you see the flag here, then you know what this flag means. People are proud of this flag. Well, you should open your eyes. Get your eyes out of your ass, so to say, because this is horrible. If you see this flag here, then you know what this flag means. This flag means torture, means arrogance, means doing everything which is not allowed. Horrible. And it continues. This is even worse. Yeah, they take pictures of it, proud. See the people standing there, smiling. They humiliate their captives. This is so horrible and crude, you cannot imagine. And if the people in the USA do not stand up and say, we do not tolerate this, our military cannot do this, if you keep your mouth shut, then you approve it. You silently approve it. And that's what happened. But it's all worshipping of the devil. This is very, very bad. These are all satanic rituals. And they know this. And it's, yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah, pictures like this. Do I need to explain what's going on? They took a very small female soldier and yeah, she had to humiliate this man. He was naked. Yeah, this is what the psychopaths really love. These kinds of terror. But the people in the USA have no idea that it are their soldiers. Their soldiers are the puppets of these psychopaths. So stand up, break free from that terror, break free from the puppet regime you have, and do something about it. Or is it already too late? And will the wrath of God be upon the USA? I think so. And it goes on for long, yeah, because the king of the north here is Stalin, and Stalin ruled for almost 30 years. But this is going on for at least 40 years, and maybe even longer. So that's also very accurate. this is also true. Yeah, the interpretation is crystal clear. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom of the north and shall return to his own land. So now we talk about the military of the USA that comes into the kingdom of the north and then goes back. And what does it mean? It means the first Desert War. Or the first Gulf War. Operation Desert Shield it was called. The USA military entered, well, not really entered, they were just firing missiles. And we saw it on television like it was a kind of computer game. But look at the devastation caused by this. Who gives you the right to do all this? To destroy all the buses? Who are driving in these buses? Now you destroyed the whole country. Why? What did the people of Iraq do to justify this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But the whole world stood there, watched it, and nobody objected. How crazy can this be? And then in 1991, so it was only about 1.5 years, they returned and stopped. So why did they do this? I think only to make this prophecy come true. Because they use this prophecy as their agenda. And they think they can twist the whole thing upside down in the end and to create a new world order out of this. Well, I have bad news for you. If you watch this, you psychopath bastards, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. This will end exactly as it is predicted in the next chapter. But his sons shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through, and then shall he return and be stirred up, even into his fortress. The way I explain this is that people of these countries, the sons, they come into the fortress of the USA. And what do we talk about? Well, of course, I talk about the event of September 11, 2001. And the official story tries to sell us the idea that there were 19 hijackers. By the way, most of them from Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia wasn't attacked. It was Afghanistan, and then later Iraq. So that story is completely bogus anyway. This is also to make this prophecy come true. We know that 9/11 was something completely different. It was an inside job, and if you don't know all the facts and watch the video that I did on it, you can easily find it on my YouTube channel. Yeah, you can subscribe to this video, but if you click on Pateo Media, enter the name under this video, then you go to my channel, and there you can immediately find it. And you can watch that video, and then you have all the facts, and you know who did it. Because the 19 real hijackers, they are here. Yeah, of course, father and son Bush, Dick Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, you can name them all, but they were all into this. They were behind 9/11. Yeah, they were the puppets that made this true. So again, checked. Yeah, this is also done. Continue. Verse 11. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, so he will be agitated, and shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north, and he shall set forth a great multitude. But the multitude shall be given into his hand. So the multitude, that means the people of this planet, humanity, will somehow allow this. They will say, yes, what you do is good. And what I talk about here is about this. Somehow, almost all of the people on this planet thought it was a good idea that the USA military entered into Iraq and overthrew the regime of Saddam Hussein. I'm not saying that Hussein was a good guy. Yeah, he was a dictator. But the people at least were having a more or less good life as far as I knew. But since the USA military completely devastated that country, it's not a good life anymore. And the reason why they went there, well, there was a rumor that there were weapons of mass destruction. Well, you see here a weapon of mass statue destruction. So the statue is destroyed. That's a weapon. But this weapon was brought there via the USA. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Actually, we saw these weapons at 9/11 applied by the powers that should not be. So this was completely bogus. This was nonsense. But the people bought it. Yeah, the multitude shall be given into his hand. The multitude bought it. And all the politicians in those days, they were lying big time, and they should be all brought to justice for war crimes, all of them, all countries, France, England, Germany, Netherlands, you can name them, all of them, because they are all guilty. And when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000, but he shall not be strengthened by it. Yeah, what we see here is that everybody is brainwashed. His heart shall be lifted up, so he thinks he can get away with it. Yeah, the powers that should not be were very happy when they saw that everything was going according to plan. They became more and more confident, and now they are brainwashing people big time with all the nonsense on the television. The mainstream media is lying to you so big, I cannot even start explaining it. So that's what's going on. But this brainwashing is not serving them, because more and more people break free. The more they try to brainwash, the more people somehow feel something is wrong here. And then they go and look for themselves on the internet. And then they find videos like this and other videos and other websites and so on. Many people are exposing the lies of mainstream media, and that's very good. Yeah, taken away the multitude means to brainwash the multitude. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, so that there will be a king in Russia who is more powerful than all previous kings or whatever, rulers, presidents of the Russian Empire, Russian Federation. That shall certainly come after a certain years with a great army and with much riches. Well, who is this great king of the north? He is already there, because it's Putin. Putin is the king of the north. And he indeed brought back the armies of Russia. Russia was very powerless until he took over. And Russia was almost bankrupt. But now he made it a wealthy country again. So he steered Russia away from bankruptcy and becoming a minor player into becoming a huge player again. Russia is now a world power again, together with the USA. And these are the two most powerful countries at this moment, thanks to Putin. Yeah, and of course the media, especially in the Western part of the world, tries to somehow make him look like a dictator. But he is just doing what is right for the people in Russia, in his own way. And I don't think he's very open to criticism. But you cannot deny that he did good things for the people in Russia. He made Russia a really powerful and wealthy country again. And he is there for some while now. In 1999, he took power as prime minister. Then he became president. Then he became prime minister again. And since 2012, he is again president of the Russian Federation. And this is the strong king of the north that will be there in the end times. And in those times, there shall many stand up against the king of the south. So people are standing up against the USA. You can see so many videos of people burning the flag of the USA all over the world, especially in the Middle East. People are fed up. Why? Because their military is destroying everything. And their secret agencies is doing that covertly. So people are completely fed up. Yeah, in Western Europe, people don't see it. But if you have eyes to see, then you can easily detect it too. Yeah, people are completely fed up with the dominance of the USA. And we're also fed up by the robbers of thy people, that shall exalt themselves to establish the vision. They shall fail. Eventually, they shall fall. But now, they are still there. And what do I talk about? Who are those robbers? Well, of course, they are the banksters. Yeah, the CEOs of the big financial institutions, the big banks, they are the robbers. Yeah, the Rothschild families and the Rockefellers, and you name them all, the Morgans. All these people are robbers. They steal because they trick us. They create a pyramid scheme. They create fake money, but somehow we buy it because it's based on debt. It's not based on real value. And when those banks are in big trouble, what do? They make the governments buy them out. bail them out. And then, yeah, the debt they had is now given to the government, but it's actually given to the people. So the people have to pay double. First, they are tricked by them, and when they are in trouble, they simply give their problems to the people. These people are extremely bad. Yeah, and these are all part of this big plan. They're all psychopath Zionists, most of them. Horrible people. And then, yeah, what happens from here on, I cannot say because it didn't happen yet. So this will happen soon. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. So the USA will be completely powerless when Russia attacks. But he that cometh against him shall do accordingly to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land which his hand shall be consumed, by which his hand shall be consumed. Here, the glorious land, this is Israel. This is the unlawful state of Israel. So glorious, that's a clear reference. Yeah, Chaldeans can mean two things. So Putin will not only conquer the USA, but he will also stand in Israel. Also, he will take over the land of Israel. And shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him, thus shall he do. Yeah, he will enter the whole kingdom of the USA, of the king of the south. And he shall give them the daughter of women. What does it mean? Will he give the women that are in the USA to the soldiers of Russia? Maybe. Corrupting her, yeah. Well, yeah, if you take this literal, then that's what it says. But she shall not stand on his side. So the people in the USA will not take the side of Russia, even though they know how bad the government of the USA was and their military. They know all this, but still they don't like the Russian conquerors. Yeah, they will not support them. After this shall he return his face unto the isles. So Putin, after he conquered the USA, will look at the United Kingdom. Yeah, the Isles means the British Isles, so Ireland and England, or England, Wales and Scotland together as an isle. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And shall take many. Yeah, maybe the rest of Europe is mentioned here too. Yeah, Germany, France, and so on, Spain. But a prince of his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. So somebody in Western Europe will stand up and make it stop. Without his reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Yeah, this will happen. Then he shall turn his face toward the fourth of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall, and not be found. Yeah, the fourth of his own land, something in his own land, or part of that, I don't know, but after he has been to Western Europe, he will do something else, but that will fail, and he will stumble and fall, and he will not be found. So he's gone. Then Putin is gone. And then shall stand up in his estate, in his place, a raiser of taxes. So somebody who works for the government and raises taxes, he will be the next ruler in the glory of the kingdom of the north. But within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. So that will happen with the successor of Putin. And in his estate, so the third one then, shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom. So he will try to take over, but nobody will recognize him. But he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. So he will put honey around the mouths of the people, and as a result, he will eventually get the power too. So after Putin, first a small one, a taxes raiser, he will be gone very soon, and then one who is not too good, a vile person, but he will eventually get it through flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken. Yeah, also is broken the Lord of the government. So this will happen too. I think there will be a literal flood as well. And the government will be broken. So this will be hard times for everyone. And after the league made with him, the connection, the bond, he shall work deceitfully. And I think this him is the devil. So this third ruler, the third one after Putin, and the second next one after him, he will make a pact with the devil, and he will become strong with a small group of people. So again, what we see now in the USA will happen in Russia too. Now there are small people of Zionists who took over the country. That will happen in Russia too after this. He shall enter with prosperity and into fertile districts, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey and spoil and riches, and he shall devise plans against the strongholds, even for a time. So people will get all the money and all the wealth that has been conquered, and the people will be happy about it. That's why he gains power. But he's not chosen in a democratic way. People are not supporting him. So he has to use this trickery to stay in power. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with an even greater and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall devise plans against him. That they feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him. So this says the USA will be destroyed from inside out. Those who eat the meat of the president, they will destroy him. And his army shall overflow. The military will stop fighting, and they will run over to the other side. And many shall fall down slain. And both these kings of the north and the south, shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, and it shall not prosper. This is all to come. I don't know who these kings will be. I don't think either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump will become the next president. I think that Barack Obama, who is actually Barry Soetoro, will stay in power somehow. Maybe because martial law will be forced upon the USA. And then, he will be that king of the south. But we'll see. It doesn't really matter who is playing that role. The point is there will be a huge war, the Third World War. For yet the end shall be at the time appointed. So there's nothing that can stop this plan. The time appointed, that will happen, no matter what. Even if people understand this. I'm explaining this now, so it's in the open, but it doesn't matter. It will still continue the way it is appointed. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. I think this is about the king of the north, but it's not clear. At the time appointed, he shall return and come toward the south, and it shall not be as the former, nor as the latter. So something completely different will happen that time. And that's because there is a weapon used. A weapon that has never been used before. For the ships of the Shittim shall come against him. There are other countries now joining in too. Therefore he shall be grieved. This is about the king of the north. He gets a new adversary. Maybe this is about China, I don't know. And return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary core of strength, and shall take away the daily. People say sacrifice here. Many people translate it as sacrifice, but there is no word. There is no word because in the old days people knew not what it was, so there was no word. Daily something. Well, nowadays we know what a daily is because we cannot survive a day without, because it's electricity, power supply. So the power supply will be gone. That's the daily thing that is missing here. And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. So the power will be gone, and then a huge weapon will be used that makes the whole place desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Well, that is what is going on also in this video. I think I understand something and I am instructing and I'm explaining this. So, and not only I, but you will do this too. Because it's not a coincidence that you watch this video. We all have a role to play. So we all have to tell people what's really going on. Yeah, it's not about the war, it's about something much bigger than that. Yet they shall fall by the sword. So even the people who understand this and who are not part of this evil world, even we can be killed by the sword and by the flame and by captivity and spoil. Yeah, because it happens for many days. So it will be tough times, no matter what. Now, when they shall fall, they shall be holpen with a little help. So there is help for us. Yeah, when we are in deep trouble, when we fall, we get help. So you can be reassured by that. But many shall cleave to them with flattery. So many people who get in these tough times, they don't wait for the little help they get from above, so to say, but they prefer to flatter their conquerors, the armies, the soldiers, the police, whatever, hoping that they will spare them. No, that's not the way to go forward. Keep your back straight. Keep your heart strong. Yeah, this is beyond the physical world. This is much bigger. So do not let yourself in. Do not sell your soul to the devil. And some of them of understanding, those people who understand, shall fall. Yeah, it's true. And why does this happen? Well, it's a test for you and me, to try them, to purge and to make them white, and to do even to the time of the end. Yeah, because everything is part of a test. It's a big test. This whole holographic projection reality is nothing than a learning environment for us. So that's why we're here, and in order to grow and to develop. So never ever doubt. Yeah, what happens, happens. And it can be very bad, I just told that, including killing and so on. But stay strong. Yeah, because it is yet for a time appointed. Everything is according to plan, and nothing can change this plan. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt him and magnify himself above every god. And that is the king of the north, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. Yeah, this final weapon. For that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the gods of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. So nothing will be higher than this king. But in his estates, in his place, shall he honor the God of forces. Yeah, I should not put a capital here actually, because this is not the one true God. This is the devil of destruction and demolition. He honors the devil. And a God whom his fathers not knew and a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold. Yeah, I think it's about the same God of destruction, with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. So he is honoring this devil big time. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God. So he's trying to make everybody worship this God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the lands for gain, divide and conquer. So this king of the north will make the whole world worship this devil. And at that time, at the end, shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind. Now this is the final stage with a huge weapon. So the president of the USA will somehow come against the president of Russia, And because he's pushing so big time, the king of the south strikes back, and he comes like unto him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries of the USA, and he shall overflow and pass on. Yeah, we'll go all the way over them. He shall enter also into the glorious lands. This is Israel, unlawful state of Israel. And many countries shall be overthrown. So other countries too, not only those two. And these shall escape out of his hand. Yeah, so that's the good news. If you're not in Israel or in the USA, those countries will escape out of his hand. Even Edom and Moab. I don't know what in these days what these countries are. And the chief of the children of Ammon. So it will be tough times, but if you are not in the USA or Israel, then you have some possibilities to somehow survive all this. And he shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and over the land of Egypt shall not escape. Yeah, many other countries are involved in this because it's a world war, third world war. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. So that means the people from the Middle East and Africa somehow will join in as well. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. So he gets news. And the king of the north, from Russia, he will be troubled. Therefore he shall call forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many. So he's doing crazy things, killing many people. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. So he will not reside anymore in Russia, but between the seas. I don't know where that is. Yeah, maybe an island halfway, I don't know. Maybe Hawaii, who knows. But somehow he puts his palace there. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. So that's how the king of the north will end too. And now, for the good part, the last part, we look at the last chapter of Daniel, because this is all, war and destruction, but it will end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, and also messenger, the great archon, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. Yeah, indeed, we just saw that. Such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. Yeah, we've never seen this kind of trouble before on the planet. We've seen horrible wars, World War I, World War II, other very bad conflicts, but this we have never seen before. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So when are you delivered, when are you saved? Only when your name is written in the book. Which book is that? The book of the living. But if your name is not in the book of the living, then you will not be delivered, and you will most certainly die. And I'm not talking about physical death, I'm talking about eternal life. So spiritual life. It's not about physical life, it's about something much bigger. But your name has to be in that book in order to reach that. And otherwise, your life will end. And maybe it was all in vain what you tried to do here. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. And that's what's going on now. People are waking up. They know that they have been lied to big times. By the government, by the health professionals, anything. Yeah, by the banksters. All big lies. But some wake up to an everlasting life because they wake up spiritually, and some to shame and everlasting contempt because they only focus on the physical things and they do not step up to the next level. So they know they have been lied to, but they don't know how to break free of it. The only way to free yourself is the spiritual way. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. So we will become like stars. The wise people among us, who spiritually develop, they become like stars. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars of forever and ever. Sorry. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So this is also stars. Yeah, but this is a star forever and ever. So that's what we should do. We should turn many to righteousness. And for some time now, I see that as my role. But it's not an easy role because most people think I'm crazy. And that's, yeah, maybe from their point of view, they are absolutely right. But from my point of view, they are the ones who are crazy. Anyway, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words. So put them somehow, make them hidden and seal the book, even to the time of the end. So it's still hidden. People still have the book of Daniel. Maybe you have a Bible in your cupboard and it's there. But if you open it, it's still not unsealed. It's still sealed because you need to crack the code first. And that's what I did. So it's now open. The book is opened. Many shall turn to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Well, that's the key here, because this is about our day and age. People are running to and fro. People are taking the plane, the airplane, or the train, or the car, or whatever. Yeah, they're always on the run. They're always on the move. There are always traffic jams. It's going on. This is the day and age where people travel many, many miles on average. And this is also the day and age when knowledge has actually exploded thanks to internet. Yeah, we know so much more than let's say 30, 40 years ago, when you had to go to the library and it took you a long time to learn. But now you can go to YouTube. What you've learned in the past hours is much and much more than you can imagine. Yeah, in ancient times, people had to go to a secret society and learn about all this. But now it's in the open, thanks to internet. So it is true. We live on this day. People run to and fro, and knowledge is indeed increased. Big time. Then this I is Daniel, looked, and what did we see? Behold, there stood other two. The one on this side of the bank of the river and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, so he was in the middle, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? I think this means that, yeah, we can be on two sides of the river. Either we can be on the side of the USA or we can be on the side of Russia. And both want to know when it will occur. And then he gets his answer, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto the heaven. So he raised both hands to the heaven and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. So this is again, mumbo jumbo. This is not easy to understand. Time, times and a half. This is, if you want to understand this, you must see the end times video, because this is a reference to the weeks mentioned. But the weeks in that video do not all have the same meaning. Sometimes a week is 7 years, and sometimes a week is 7 times 7 years. And the last week is only half, so there's a half week. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. So it will end. It will end in the last week and halfway the last week. And I heard, but I understood not. Then I said, Oh my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the waters are closed up and sealed till the end of time. Till the time of the end, sorry. So he did not get an answer then, but actually he got an answer, because the answer is right here. Time, times and a half. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. Yeah, this is the testing period. And because we are tested so big time, we can become pure. And we do not choose the darkness. We don't choose black. No, we choose light, white. And we are tried indeed. But the wicked shall do wickedly. Yeah, that goes on. And none of the wicked shall understand. No. It's very difficult for me to explain all this to the people who do not understand this, because they are wicked. And what does wicked mean? they chose for darkness. They're not aware of this. They think they do good. Yeah, people who go to the church every Sunday, or some go Saturday, doesn't really matter. Those people think they do good, but they do not, because they are somehow brainwashed, and they actually serve the black, they serve the darkness, but they think they do the opposite, and that's why they do not understand. It's very difficult to explain to religious people that religion is the work of the devil. You need to break free from religion in order to understand the true word of God, and hopefully by watching this video it will somehow become clear to you, because only the wise will understand, and hopefully you are wise and you can understand. And from the time that the daily, and again this is missing, but this has to of course be the electricity, the daily power supply is taken away, and the abomination that make it desolate is set up. Is also not present, but is set up. So between those two moments, taking away electricity and this very huge weapon, there shall be 1,290 days. So this is a very precise reference. The moment the power supply is cut off, you can press in your stopwatch, and 1,290 days later, there will be a huge bomb, huge explosion, a huge weapon that will make desolate. Yeah, an abomination. That weapon is an abomination. It's horrible. But it clearly says when it will be applied, or at least set up. Maybe it takes a few days to make it go off. Anyway, I think this is actually the day it goes off. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,330 days. So 45 days later. If you're able to survive these 45 days, then you are blessed. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of days. Now, people get worried when they read this and they ask me, what should I do? Well, stand in your lot. Don't do anything. Yeah, if you want to do something, it's go your game, so to say, do what you think is good. Yeah, but you cannot run away from destiny. Simple as that. But you can, and that's what you can do, the only thing, you can raise your consciousness. That's the only thing you can do. And even stronger, if you somehow create a bunker where you can survive for 45 days, you have your own power supply, you have your own food, and you can make it warm and so on. It will do you nothing good when you have a low consciousness. So it starts with raising your consciousness first, and then you get inspiration. Then you will get, your intuition will tell you what to do. But that's the order of things. Consciousness is first. So this will happen. There will be a huge disruption of the power supply. And maybe that is done by man with an electromagnetic pulse weapon. It's possible. Or it is done by a solar flare or a kind of coronal mass ejection. Yeah, and a heavenly event. Doesn't really matter, but that will happen. And that will be the start of the end times. And then there will be an abomination, yeah, that makes desolate. That's that huge weapon that is applied here. And then after 45 days, there is the blessing. And when we count this up, this is 3.5 weeks. So this is fully in line with the video that I already made. I didn't know this by then. I didn't know this interpretation because I'm doing this step by step. And actually, it's absorbing all my time. I'm doing this full time, and it almost feels like an obsession that I have to do it. Everything else I put aside to make this. So I put a huge pressure on myself because I think it is very important that people know this. And the moment I understand it, I immediately make a video and I share it. There are errors in my videos, but I think it's not that important. The main message is there, and you can learn from this. So this is fully consistent with what I already made in this video, the end times prophecy. And again, I advise you to watch this, but I ask a little bit of money for that. Yeah, if you give me €5, you transfer it to me via PayPal or bank transfer, then I will give you the access code to that video, and then you can see it. Or you can decipher it for yourself. Maybe it's not that difficult anymore, because I already gave you the main clue here. Anyway, that's possible, and of course, you also have to be honest to yourself and say to yourself what this video is worth to you. Yeah, if it was worthless, okay, no problem. Then you don't owe me anything. So the end is near, and the end of this video is also near. But what does it mean, the end? The end actually means a new beginning. The old will end, and the old is actually completely corrupted. All the systems in our current society are extremely corrupted, and they will not be able to cure themselves from the inside out. That's not possible, because they are beyond curing. They are terminal. So they will be terminated, and that is this reset. Actually, the reset button is being pushed in the end times, and after that we can start again, start afresh. So the end is actually a new beginning, and I'm looking very much forward to that new beginning, but I'm not so much looking forward to everything that's going to happen in the end, because it will be very tough and rough and painful times for all of us. What can you do? Can you build a shelter? Can you run away? Can you make a way to survive all of this? Well, there's only one thing you should do, actually, and that's make sure that your name is in the book of the living. That's the only thing that should concern you right now. The only thing. And you don't have much time to do that. How to do that? Well, you can create your own way of doing it. I created my way, and I developed a method, and that method takes a long time to study, but there is some time, so it's possible to watch all these 30 videos of the Holy Science video course in time and know what to do, and then you can make sure that your name is in this book, because otherwise you might be able to survive the bad things, but you will not take part in the rapture. And that's what it's actually all about, because the rapture, that's the start of the new, that's the new beginning. And only when your name is in this book, you will take part in the rapture. So if you want to stay updated, then you can somehow connect with me. Yeah, I'm not sure if I make another Holy Scripture television episode, maybe not. Yeah, I think this Trinity is clear, and it tells you exactly what is going to happen. So, and there's not much time, so not sure what I'm going to do, but I really want you to make sure you get it. So if there are any questions, yeah, not long ones, but short questions, I'm always willing to answer. You can connect with me in any way. You can find my email address on my website, or you can send me a message via holyscience.org, via contact. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel or connect with me LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. It's all possible. But make sure that we, the people who know, people who are in the understanding, somehow learn from each other and help each other to stay strong in these coming days. That's the main message that I have for you. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Namaste.